Hello and welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. This is going to be the weekly general reading for Sagittarius, my sign, my brothers and sisters. This is going to be from March 22nd to the 29th. And before I start the video, I just want to say to all of you, as I have done in all my other videos this week, I'm just sending you guys a message and, positive energy for you guys to all to stay safe right now. Be careful, be kind to each other, watch out for each other, watch out for yourselves. Watch out for your health as much as you can, and just try and, be good right now, right? Try as best you can to sort of be as good of a person as you can to your neighbor, because everyone right now is going through a lot, right? And worldwide, this is unprecedented. So just be kind to each other, be good to each other, and try to stay true to who you are at a time like this where things are very uncertain. Right, so the readings have certainly reflected this uncertainty. A lot of specific cards associated with this energy has been coming out. But before I get into it, guys, don't forget I am giving away the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Deck and Guidebook this month, March 31st. I will be announcing the winners, so don't forget to check out my channel. If you want to be in the running, all you have to do is be subscribed and leave me a comment. Let me know you're interested, right? And that's it. That's all you have to do. All right, guys. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's get into your romance angels messages for this week coming up, Sagittarius. Now, like I said, a lot of the readings have really been, they've been strong readings, right? A lot of strong cards, a lot of major arcana coming out, a lot of strong combinations. It's very interesting to see how the readings reflect sort of, the overall energy out there in the collective. All right, guys, straight out we have trust. Yeah, it's time for you to have trust right now in all situations. We're going to have past life relationship. So some of you are dealing with someone you've known before, Sagittarius, and we have religious factors. So some of you right now are having some of your relationships impacted by this. Now, the romance angel messages are, ideally they are for love connections, right? But I believe that a lot of the messages can really translate into all kinds of connections, family connections, friendships, right? But certainly connections with someone you feel strongly with. But it doesn't always necessarily have to be a sexual or romantic connection, right? All right, guys, let's get right into it. We're going to pull out your animal spirits next. Now, this is the deck that I'm giving away this month. If you haven't seen it before, if you're new to my channel, maybe you still haven't seen it. A lot of people use this deck. It's a beautiful deck. That's why I'm giving it away. It's a really, really nice deck for anybody, beginner to someone who's been working with tarot for many, many years. I've been reading tarot for over 25 years, and I love this deck as a quality sort of long-term deck you can work with. It's really beautiful. So here we go, the Phoenix. Straight out, we have the Phoenix. It's associated with the very first chakra, the root chakra. We're talking about rising from the ashes, right? The hyena. This one just showed up for Scorpio, I believe, yep. And the moth. Ooh, air energy. All right, Sagittarius. All right, so let's get right into those animal spirits before we pull out your traditional 3-card spreads for the week. The Phoenix is associated with the first chakra, the root chakra, right? And here we're talking about rebirth. Right? Rebirth, death and rebirth, the type of rebirth that we have during a lifetime, right? So we're not talking about actual death here, but we're talking about a rebirth that we experience in our lives. And a lot of times the Phoenix really talks about coming to a place in your life where you're just simply and absolutely finally ready to let go of suffering. Right? So you let go of the things that cause you suffering. And what I'm saying here is that you can't control the outside influences on your life that may cause suffering. That's not necessarily something that you can directly control, right? But you can control the things that you have held on to, right? So a lot of times we're talking about, past events, connections with people, ideas that you have, maybe even resentments that you've held on to, or whatever the case is. But it's letting go of all of the things that you have held on to in some kind of way in your past. And not burying them, not burning bridges and slamming doors, but simply letting go, right? Simply letting go, because this is how you rise from the ashes, instead of just sort of like, pushing through angrily. You're rising from the ashes because you're letting go. You're lighter. You're flying up. You're reborn, but you're reborn in you're reborn the phoenix. You're reborn able to fly again, to be free again, to be expanseful again, right? And so this is the thing, right, with the phoenix, right? And this is a strong animal spirit to come in when you're really having a very fundamental life change that you may be going through, Sagittarius, right now. And this is part of the energy that you're bringing to it. Now, the hyena is a fire and an element. Oh, by the way, that alchemical symbol at the top of the phoenix card is associated with ether or spirit. And in alchemy, we have 5 elements. And this is another thing that I love about this animal spirit deck. It does look at the 5th element. And so the phoenix is one of those 5th elements. Now, the hyena is associated with fire energy, and this came out for Scorpio too, so this was very interesting. The hyena is somebody who really covers up their true feelings of inadequacy or pain or resentment with sarcasm, right? It's associated with wit and sarcasm and humor and, being the funny man, but it's also associated with a high level of insecurity and self-esteem and inadequacy, not feeling good enough, right? And trying to hide that behind the face of laughter, but you can generally feel that this energy is not genuine, right? You can tell when somebody is making a joke to sort of hide something painful, and you feel that, or when somebody is genuinely has, a gift for comedy, right? And they actually make you laugh and uplift you, right? Simply the act of laughing or making jokes or being witty or sarcastic doesn't always necessarily imbue a happy feeling. Sometimes you can really tell when somebody resonates with this energy because it just hurts, right? Even the jokes they tell, they kind of hurt, even if they're funny or even if their humor is somewhat funny, there's a bitingness there that makes you feel like, wow, you can really sort of feel that this person is coming from a place of pain. And so you could be dealing with that. You could be dealing with somebody who's resonating with that, Sagittarius, right? You may be trying to decide how to handle that. It could be that you yourself are resonating with that a little bit, only in the sense that you may be just putting a brave face on it, and you may be, Sagittarius are known to make a lot of jokes, right, and try to make things funny. I'm a Sagittarius myself, and I've known a lot of Sagittarius who are like that. But it can be sometimes because you may yourself be feeling quite sensitive right now. You might be going through some really painful feelings. And so just be careful not to put too much of a heavy-handed humor face on it, right? If you're resonating with it. If you're dealing with somebody who's resonating with this energy, then, be kind to them and maybe, help them see what it is that they're really trying to sort of ignore about themselves and face up to that and maybe transmute that energy into something positive. Now, the moth is associated with air energy, and the moth is also an interesting sort of animal spirit, This is the animal spirit for being really hasty and wishful. This is somebody who's always, ready to, this is the grass is always greener on the other side person. This is the person who's always going to fly off for the next shiny object, right? Just like a moth is drawn to the flame. Moth energy is very sort of fleeting. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere, and it's just an unrealistic attitude, right? So that's why it's associated sometimes with wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is, it's good. It's good to wish for things, and it's good to have a healthy sort of, I want to say, imagination for what you want to manifest in your life. But wishful thinking is when you just sit around and wish and wish and wish for something, but you don't actually work for it. You don't stick around and work for it and go through, you're like, oh, I wish I could have this, but then you do what you necessarily need to do. And so the moth is kind of the animal spirit for that energy also. So if you're resonating with this, it's time to sort of maybe, lay some roots, get grounded a little bit and realize that you're not going to achieve what you're truly seeking until you put a lot more effort into it, right? Until you sort of stand still and don't get sort of led away, right, by other options. If you're dealing with somebody who's resonating with this, be careful if you're in a love connection with them, right? If they're not willing to speak to you or talk to you about having that conversation of being more present and committed and grounded, then you have to be careful with somebody like that. Because if they're not willing to make that change, moth energy individuals can be very hurtful to be in a relationship with, right? So, of course, depending on which side of it, you're on, whether you're resonating with it or dealing with somebody, it's, your approach is going to be whatever is, you know, the best for this situation in terms of transcending this sort of this energy, right? Which is not healthy in the long run. All right, Sagittarius, we have Empress coming in, Knight of Pentacles, nice. And we have the Hermit. Bottom here, the Ten of Cups just fell out, and I just wanted to show it to you because it's a beautiful card that just fell out off the top. But we're not going to go there. We're just going to do a 3-card spread. It just lets you know that it wanted to do a little peek. So things are going to turn out good for you. Empress energy here, Sagittarius. Some of you are coming into the week strong in your feminine energy. You're really sort of feeling your creativity soaring. You're feeling very sort of fertile with sort of artistic energy and inventive energy and things that you want to create. The Empress is really the embodiment of bringing, you know, the seeds that have been sown by the subconscious, you know, by the imagination, by the higher self, by the soul, by whatever that spark is within you, those seeds that have been sown of what it is you desire to manifest. The Queen or the Empress she is the queen of bringing that into manifestation. So she's the queen at watering and growing and fertilizing and tending to that seed so it grows into something, right? She's the one who brings children to life. So she's very earthy. We're here talking about the, you know, the god, you know, we're talking about Venus here. Venus is associated, the goddess Venus is associated with the Empress. So it's like, we're talking about the goddess of love here, the goddess of love and beauty, but also the goddess, the sort of earthy goddess, right, that brings things into being, right? The garden, right? And so here we're talking about that. And it's also the Empress oftentimes is an energy, a Sagittarius, where you're beginning to sort of be able to create the environment that you want for yourself. So some of you might be moving or creating a certain living environment that's a lot more conducive for you and for your creativity. This is something else that the Empress is an energy of doing, right? Doing that for herself, right? So this is a strong energy when the Empress is resonating with you. So these are all of the different ways that some of you may be coming in this week with this Empress energy. And you're met with the Knight of Pentacles. And again, I say that because it does feel like you guys are creating something, because Knight of Pentacles is being very committed to a particular goal, right? A particular pursuit. This is going to be definitely a pursuit in career or abundance, finance, business, whatever work you do. This is a pursuit towards a goal that is a financial goal of stability and abundance. So whatever you do for that, right? Whatever kind of work you're in, you're definitely on a strong, committed path towards that. The the Knight of Pentacles is the most committed knight in the deck. So you want to see him show up definitely when you are working towards a material plan, when you're trying to create something. Whether it's a business, a path, you may be wanting to set up a center, you may be wanting to do something like build something or create something or establish something, or you may be trying to move up into a particular career path where you can make more of an impact. Whatever your goal is, it's certainly something that's going to resonate you up financially and materially. By the end of the week, you resonate with the Hermit. So there is a feeling of you really wanting to be on your own, right? I think this is certainly a reading for a solitary Sagittarius who's kind of on their own right now and feeling that Sagittarius energy, you know, that wanderlust, that lust for life, that sort of that horse energy in a lot of ways of you're feeling your independence, you're feeling you're in your power right now, you're feeling sexy and beautiful and wanting to create these beautiful things. You're absolutely committed, and at the same time you're also committed to a very deep spiritual path right now, self-realization. So you know, you are on one. This is a reading for a Sagittarius who this week I think is going to become even more committed on this path. I think that's the point of these 3 cards, is that you're absolutely this week, your events that are coming in that are going to make you resonate with this Nine of Pentacles are events that are going to sort of cement your desire for staying on this path and also cement your desire for remaining in your hermit mode if you aren't already in your hermit mode. More strong cards. Geez. And there's the Two of Pentacles. Now, for those of you who are cross-watching, you will see that I have said from the very beginning, Two of Pentacles showed up, I believe it was for Aries at the very beginning, and I have said right away that I would not be surprised if this week's readings, one of the main players would be Two of Pentacles, and it just showed up again. I think it showed up for Libra. I don't think it showed up for Scorpio, but it did show up for Libra. Then I did Scorpio, and now I'm you guys, and it's here again. So it's definitely shown up for at least I'm going to say 5 or 6 readings now, and I still have 4 more to go. Why is that? Because everyone right now is going through a chaotic event. Everyone right now is really going through an up and down financially, and this is often the position the Two of Pentacles has shown up in. But in any case, Sagittarius, let's start from the beginning. You come into the week with the High Priestess, and excuse me, the High Priestess is really Isis veiled, right? Just like I said earlier, the Empress is Isis unveiled. So she's Venus unveiled in her glory, in the garden, all of that. High Priestess is Isis veiled, so she's the hidden form of Isis, right? So she's the hidden, she's the truth behind the growth. She is the reason for life. What is the reason for life? This is the secret knowledge. That's why she holds the Torah on her lap. Of course, the ultimate question is, what is life? What is the secret, or why do we have life? Those major questions, these are the questions in the realm of the High Priestess. They're not something that you can answer per se in words. They're something that you have to feel and experience. This is why she is the highest card for sort of extrasensory perception. She's the highest card for intuitional ability, for wisdom, for the type of wisdom that is so important that it is protected. The Torah talks about it. The Torah talks about the knowledge being encoded in the language of the Torah, right? So these are all, symbolic of the secrecy of the meaning of life and how this is very specific to every person. This is something that you find out through your own personal experience, and that's why it cannot be imparted to anyone. That's the secret, because it's different for everyone, right? And so in any case, you're resonating highly with the high level of spirituality this week, Sagittarius, coming in. You have a high level of intuition this week. You know what's going to happen. You know the next steps. You're feeling very confident. High levels of intuition with the High Priestess also bring high levels of confidence. So this is the Sagittarius who's just feeling in their skin this week, feeling good and confident. This is the kind of energy that, Sagittarius who's kind of on fire will generally feel. So you're coming into the week with that, and you're met with the Hanged Man. Something in this week inspires you and makes you realize that perhaps you haven't been making as much effort as you needed to in a particular area. Hanged Man is all about waking up. A lot of times it's interpreted as being stuck, but in fact, it was not. First of all, you're not stuck when the Hanged Man shows up, because he has the halo of radiance, and he has the halo of awakening and enlightenment around his head. So he is woken up. He is not stuck anymore, if he was ever stuck. And oftentimes, previous to this moment, right, when the Hanged Man shows up, because the moment this card shows up in the reading, it implies that you are now woke. Previous to that, it's not that you were necessarily stuck, but you just certainly didn't have the inspiration. You just didn't feel like moving or making a particular effort in a certain area of your life, right? And a lot of times that's because you didn't have the right level of inspiration to do so. This is why we associate the Hanged Man with a high degree of inspiration coming in as well. This is why he is illuminated. This is why he is having an epiphany. So a lot of times this can mean that you've either seen something or met somebody or had an experience in your life that suddenly inspired you so much to want to do something that you've never really put the effort into doing before, right? Or to move in a particular direction that you've never felt like moving in before, but something has come in strong for you. Nevertheless, this is a great sort of, I want to say, artistic awakening sometimes also. By the end of the week, still, you round off with this Two of Pentacles that a lot of signs have rounded off with this week, because you simply don't know what's happening financially. Regardless of how confident you are, things will just be up and down, right? They will cause emotional sort of ups and downs, right, as well. You can see that by the ocean in the background. That's also very chaotic. So, but the good thing about Two of Pentacles, though, is that it's a temporary energy, right? It feels strong. It feels like, oh man, how long will I be able to juggle this? How long will I be able to keep these balls in the air? But it is temporary, and eventually the seas calm down and everything calms down, right? And you eventually will see settling down. So, but right now, everything is simply in flux. And what can I say? This is coming out simply for everyone. Strength card, Page of Cups, and Five of Wands. This is the last spread for you, Sagittarius. Some of you are coming in this week resonating with strength. Strength is, of course, the card for Leo, your sister sign. And wow, you're being strong again, coming in, right? Just being very strong, putting boundaries up, realizing that perhaps You may be in certain situations that are too emotional for you right now. You're realizing that right now you're going to have to pull that together. Part of the flip side of strength is putting boundaries in place, right? If you know you're being triggered and your emotions are being sort of pulled here and there, right? Part of that understanding for relaxing those emotions and not so much taming them, but having an understanding that they're not in charge, you are. Part of that, of course, is setting boundaries, right? Setting boundaries so everyone else's energy doesn't come into you and play with your emotions, right? If you know, lay your heart bare and lay everything bare and allow people, all kinds of people always to come into you close, right, and draw in your energy, this is when our emotions take over, because we don't have the strength to stay true, right? To stay in control, because we literally don't have the strength. We literally don't have the energy. And so then we react and our emotions take over. So, you know, it's always very important, because the eight of any suit or in tarot always implies a boundary of some sort, right? It always implies putting a boundary in place or being stuck in some kind of boundary for whatever reason. Here we're talking about certainly putting boundaries in place to maintain your strength. So you may be dealing with that, Sagittarius. You may be dealing with that in relationships, you know what I mean, with family or friends. However, in any case, you come into the week, you're met with a Page of Cups, and the Page of Cups is interesting. Somebody comes into you and they want to offer you a token of love, right? And it's cute, it's interesting, you know. And maybe somebody you've known before. We do have past life relationship, and we have trust, and it feels like somebody is genuinely wanting to come in and just say, hey, I'd like to get to know you better. And it just feels like a very innocent token of love that somebody wants to exchange. Really, even if it's just a coffee, this is not a heavy commitment, but this is an expression of affection, right? A specific affection for you from somebody else, right? And it feels good. By the end of the week, however, you round off with a 5 of Wands. So there's a lot of competition suddenly going on. And this could very well be simply because you have this person coming in who's kind of comes in almost like an admirer. And then suddenly there's some aggro somewhere else. Now that could be with some people that already know you and admire you, or people you know, or it could be with people who knows this individual. But it's just interesting that you know, somebody comes into you and wants to be with you in a certain way, or at least get to know you, and all of a sudden by the end of the week you're kind of in a real competitive sort of battle with someone. Now I'm not sure if you're choosing for this battle or the battle is choosing you, but you're finding yourself in this energy by the end of the week. And I wouldn't be surprised if by next week's reading some of you will get a reading to talk about that, in the sense that, you know, you may be getting a 5 of Swords in the sense that you're laying it down and letting them win because you're not there for it, right? Sagittarius generally, I don't know that you generally are that competitive type sort of thing, right? It's like, you know, either we do this or we don't. Like, I'm not going to fight. You know what I mean? For somebody, that kind of, and it's a petty fight. You know, I'm not talking about a fighting for your love. I'm talking about, you know, that petty kind of fighting over a man or fighting over a woman type of energy. That competitiveness. Oh, well, I should be with him, or you should be with him, or I should be with her, you should be with her. I'm better than you, and so it should be me. It's that kind of petty fighting here that's happening here. So again, I'm not sure if you're the one who's instigating it or you've been brought into it. It feels to me like you've been brought into it, Sagittarius, and it's just like you may have to, again, just decide how you want to actually handle that, right? Because this is how you round off your week, so I don't have an answer for you. You know, again, I wouldn't be surprised if the answer comes in next week's reading. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. This is your reading for March 22nd to the 29th. Don't forget to remind me or let me know if you are interested in a Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Deck and Guidebook by commenting and being a subscriber on my channel. Let me know. All you have to do is say you're interested or something like that. I just don't want to give the deck away to someone who doesn't actually want to work with a tarot deck. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to be kind to each other. Don't forget to be safe, stay careful, stay healthy. And yes, most of all, try to be kind to each other. And next week, I will be right back for your weekly general, Sagittarius. But for right now, you guys have a great week. Bye-bye now.